Hello right bags, it's Jade, welcome to a Rust video. Guys, I told you last week that the beta was extended to the 14th of May. If that's your bag, you've bought the more expensive editions to play, good luck on you. You've only got a few days left. I really wouldn't bother. Buy the cheapest version and wait for the game to come out on the 21st. It's had a lot of issues and they really haven't been that quick at updating or getting stuff done for it. So the next best bet is that all these problems will be fixed by the time the game fully launches on the 21st or the 18th if you've bought more expensive editions. But today we're focusing mostly on another AMA. They have done one and it's filled with really good useful information. I criticised the first one for being too short and not having enough decent answers, but it looks like they have actually gone out their way to really go through a bunch of stuff. So, without further ado, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe for opinion-based survival games news, guides and tutorials. Let's go into the future of Rust and some really important questions. So right now, lots of people are asking about content, and right now the beta is what you're going to be playing at launch. Any idea that they're going to suddenly add oil rigs, cargo ship and anything else for the launch of the game has always been ridiculous and stupid, and a big to anyone that was trying to say it's just the beta. The beta is the full game, guys. Like, yes, bugs will be fixed, certain things will be added, but yeah, they're not going to suddenly add a ton of content, and that's been confirmed today in some of these answers. So right now they're currently working on the current version. They're not following the same path in terms of updates that Facepunch did. Their changes are going to be pretty different, but balancing changes will always happen. They've got no information yet about the rentable servers. I've told you guys they're not going to be there at launch. They've said that previously. I really wouldn't expect it to happen for a couple months afterwards. They want the official servers to be popping. It means that they've got more players talking about the game, playing the game directly, and it generates more PR. I don't think I'll remember many games having servers ready for launch, so I'm not going to rag them out for that. That's a pretty normal affair. Obviously, the most important question for me is how much the server rentals are going to be. In my opinion, they should be cheaper than what you can find at other third-party websites like G-Portal or Trado, my partners, mainly because they're doing it themselves. If they're hosting and renting out these servers themselves, it should be cheaper or at least the same price. It shouldn't be more expensive. They're going to always try and improve the FPS. They've said on consoles, all consoles, as much as possible. They've got some plans for remapping certain buttons on a controller, but it isn't a priority, so don't hold your breath. That might not happen for a while. And to reaffirm what exactly they said about new content being added, is there a guaranteed chance that we'll have a newer game on launch? For example, such as like 2019 to 2021 Rust updates, which have a good improvement. Are we going to get things like the LN96 vehicles, air balloons and added all the stuff? Are they going to have a roadmap added? And he does say that if he doesn't kind of see some of this stuff on the horizon, he may feel he'll get a refund, and I think that's pretty fair. Zolt here has said we're going to add content that's missing, but not in the same order Facepunch did or in the same state. Some may have different changes because we are on console and performance is the biggest factor in adding new stuff to the game. Someone asked about that roadmap and when we're going to expect to see it. They're working on it at the moment. Once we have more information about it, I'll be sure to release it. I know this is important for you guys. Yeah, I would say so. I can't really see why we haven't got a roadmap. Only maybe like a week to go before the release. We still don't actually know roughly when stuff's going to come in. I don't think anyone is desperate to know, yep, every month I'm going to see this for the next 6, 12 months, whatever it is. But just some idea that maybe by Christmas we will get this, or by the end of October, the third quarter, we're going to get this. Sadly Void asked, will official servers have rules, for example a 3 or 4 man only server with no extra teaming? Ryan has said that they're discussing this, but they'll have more information in the future. So I do think it'll happen. I do think we'll see either solo servers come in, not necessarily reducing clan sizes that much. I could see them maybe doing solos and duos, but I can't really see them going to all the trouble of starting up like trios or 4-man teams. I think it will be a case of just solos, duos and full player ones. They're also talking about the rules and how they can stop maybe players from teaming up. I guess they'll have to have moderators. Now Ark has done this, maybe not always good or bad. At the beginning, during the early access, they seem to have much more moderators that would go around servers and get rid of people that were building in no build zones or basically cheaters. But in recent years they've been pretty slow at dealing with a lot of aimbotters and all sorts of cheats and stuff that go on Ark. So it's really hard to manage. It's an expectation that we have now with certain online games, but there are other games that really don't have that kind of stuff going on. Someone's asked how the shop is going to work, and they've answered, we haven't settled on anything yet, but I can say that we're not going to have all skins available at all times, so it is going to be rotating just like it is on the Face Punch store. Making some skins rarer makes them more valuable for the player that owns them. They've also categorically stated that they're not going to have the chance to resell skins. I'm pretty glad about that. I think it's a pretty shitty thing on PC that people can charge literally $1,000 for a skin that they didn't make, didn't actually have any input on, yet they can make all that money from. And that happens on the PC version through third-party websites and of course the Steam store. So yeah, no real games ever do that. I can't think of another game that does that for real world money. There are some games, I think some of you guys told me, that you can swap stuff out or sell it for in-game currency, and maybe that could be a feature. But even then, there's ways that people convert that into real money. Obviously, voice chat will be coming back. For some reason, it just hasn't appeared. I don't know why it hasn't been in the beta, but voice chat will be coming very soon, hopefully. Electricity is not going to be there at the launch. It's a big thing, and they don't want to add it piece by piece, so it's going to be added post-launch. People asking about the audio, making sure it's improved. They said they're going to do their best. Freeze frames and bug fixing, a lot of questions about that stuff. They are obviously tackling or trying to. There's no plans for Twitch drops. They're considering it for future events maybe, but I think it'll be a bit different to how they're doing it now. And the simple truth is that a lot of the streamers you watch, they don't give a fuck about you on console, guys. That's why I've always been repping. Like, I've always felt like there wasn't enough people actually showing what it's like to play games on consoles, what it's like to have the problems and the updates that are late. That's why my channel got pretty successful with Ark, Conan and DayZ, because I was showing it on console, I wasn't showing it on PC. Now I do play PC and I do mix and match a bit more now. I guess the thing is that you enjoy lots of proper Rust streamers, ones that are really good at PvP, entertaining, the videos like Frost, etc. So of course you might want some of their slick looking skins. But let's face it, this is console Rust. Don't you want to find actual proper console streamers? I'm not talking about Jade fucking Pathetic Monkey, or even me, because I'm not particularly good at the game. I hold my hands up, I'm a farmer. It'd be nice if that in the future, maybe 6 months, 9 months down the line, they have built up a community of people that are playing this game on Xbox and PlayStation, and they're the ones that they start actually looking at and trying to get some sort of skins for. I know everyone wants to rep their favourite streamers, but at the end of the day, Rust on console is different from PC, and I think we need to find new heroes. So support your smaller streamers, people. Go out there. If you see anyone playing Rust on an Xbox or a PlayStation, go and give them a follow and a sub. Let's start build up a community. There really isn't that many people covering this kind of stuff on console. That's why you have to put up with either Jade Monkey being a simp or me being super hypercritical. I guess we're never going to see a Ratbag Door or Hammer. So let's get and raise up as many console streamers and YouTubers as possible. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there. So maps aren't randomly generated. I hate to burst your bubble. I've told you guys this a couple of weeks ago. They're actually just pulled from like a small pool. Now they're aiming to add this in the future, but what they're going to do at the moment is they're going to just have more choices. So they'll make the seeds or the custom maps themselves, and then they'll put them in based on stuff, but not really properly, fully procedurally generated. Apparently there's a problem with the monuments and the performance and locations of some of this stuff. We've seen lots of problems with the dome. So yeah, at the time being, these maps are pretty much going to be the same maps you're going to see for a while. They'll maybe add a few bigger ones. We know that 5K maps will be there in the future. That's what the dev said in the last AMA, but it does look like, yeah, you're not going to necessarily see really big, new, cool, new things, like different things all over the place. So another question about the skin trading system. We know that's not happening. Is there going to be a nickname system like on PC to change the in-game display name? And what frame rate are you guys trying to reach for each console? And this is a great question. It's the biggest complaint I had, why I was so critical, because the Xbox base console runs at horrendous FPS, like sub 15 FPS. So Zolt has said that it's hard to tell. Sony and Microsoft have conditions on what you can show and change, and that's true. If you remember back in the day on Minecraft signs, it would always say waiting to be authorized. It's got a bit better in certain situations like Ark and other games that you can write signs. You can see that some words you can't use. So I don't think it would be that hard. Other games can do it, so it shouldn't be too hard to change your name. You can show and change your nickname whatever you want on Ark, so I can't see why you couldn't necessarily have that system on Rust. The FPS for all consoles, they've listed this. New gen is going to be capped at 60 FPS. The basic consoles are capped at 30. Xbox One, Xbox One S and the PS4. So fingers crossed they can really live up to that. If they get that running, if they can actually put this at 30 FPS, I will absolutely give them a lot of praise. I know it's super hard getting these games to run better, But yeah, I just don't think it's acceptable nowadays. Even on an Xbox One, we've had Call of Duty running 60 FPS on an Xbox One for years. Maybe not Warzone, but all the other multiplayer game modes, it's always been 60 FPS. And since this game is quite expensive, I can't see any reason why we can't say we want the same stuff as other games. They've also said they're trying to hit 60 uncapped sometimes on the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, but they're also sometimes getting 30 from the VSync. So they're trying to hit 60 FPS, but they can't guarantee it. But yeah, right now on these base systems, it's nowhere near 30. I'm talking like 15 FPS at best, and gets really bad as soon as you get into some sort of gunfight. It does look like they're trying to add more server providers all around the world. They're looking at the online team to do that, and so South American servers may be a possibility in the future. And again, just like I said, and I've shown you guys with the PC updates, they're very different. In my Rust Console Edition full game content, the updates that might come to console video, I pretty much outlined how far or how long some of this stuff took to come to PC. And in it, I really detailed that I reckon they're going to be taking a lot of the stuff that ended up coming out over 3 months and putting it all in one update. The best example of this is the horses. Now the horse update added horses at first, but you couldn't ride them. Then they added the ability to ride them, and then they added the ability to have armor for them, but these were all quite different and they were spread out over a few months. And then it was some while later they added things like stables. So now they've got the benefit of hindsight. Double 11 could go in and just do all of the horses content in one update. So that bam, one day we've just got the horses riding around, not really been doing much other than getting some meat and some hide. And now we can go ahead and ride them, we can put armor on them, we could have got the stables for them. It makes sense to do it all in one go. Likewise with the vehicles, we had the vehicles, then they've added more modifications to them. There's more different types of the mods that you can put on them. So it makes sense that you would put them all together. And likewise, even with the air vehicles. I think the minicopter was added first, and then the next one, the bigger large one, wasn't added for a little while. And then they added the Airwolf point where you could buy it. That was months afterwards. So it makes sense to do the air update and have it all in one update. This is kind of one positive. I know I shit on them because of the pre-order situation. I don't think I'm ever going to get past that. But I will praise that if they do it like this, it's a great idea. I'm not really ecstatic the game's so far behind, but it does offer an opportunity to get all of this content, all of these updates in one kind of batch. So it'd be nice to see something like, you know, the big horse update, the big air update, the big car update, rather than waiting every month to get one little bit. But expect that to take time. I don't think they're going to be releasing monthly updates. It'll be like every quarter. So every sort of 2 months, maybe 3 months, you'll get a big chunky update. Now, one thing that's a bit contradictory, someone asked about the PC updates and how they're going to be different to PC. Zolt said updates from PC, but not in the same order and not all of them, not under the same circumstances. But then another question later on, which we're going to see, says that we are going to get all the PC updates. So yeah, a bit of a weird one that. Someone asked about anti-cheat system, but they're going to be adding more to it. It is their own one, and yeah, they'll just be improving it over time. Someone else asked again, maybe about signs and stuff, and we'll be able to do painting. Now they're saying that it's got to be verified by Sony and Microsoft to avoid abuse, harassment, etc. But let's face it, it is again doable. You can do painting in Arc, and I will use other games, why not? Everyone defends Double 11 and the price of the game, saying, oh, it's a $60 game, all the games are $60. Well, no, they're not actually, not in this kind of genre. But if you're going to charge that money, then you can maybe go that extra mile to make sure it's got lots of the features players want. So I couldn't see it being an issue if they pushed hard enough. Like I said, other games have it that you can paint and do stuff. So why can't Rust get that done? I've had players, or pretty much toxic stream snipers, building massive cock and balls in my streams. So why can't we actually have some pictures of it? You know. Lots of questions about individual features come in, like horses and oil rigs, and they just said more information on the roadmap in future. Now this is interesting. Like I told you last time, they said they would have 5K maps, and now they're saying it depends on maybe if it's next gen only. Now this is something I reckon they're going to do. I reckon they're going to charge for an upgrade. That they will probably do this. There's going to get a point where they're going to say, you know what, the old console just can't handle cars or vehicles. So if you want to play with the vehicles, we're sorry, we're only going to have that mode on these certain servers. Now it's a lot of technological stuff behind that. I'm not sure they'll be able to pull it off completely. You can have different versions of the game running. We've seen it on PC and other stuffs, but it would be a first for console to have a very unique, different kind of online service on one system, and then having the other on the other, if that makes sense. But yeah, they're pretty much saying that map size is limited by console power. No guarantees, but maybe some next gen only maps. So if they added like 7K maps or 8K maps, etc., that might only be on the next gen. And bear in mind, people, I keep saying it, most of you guys are playing an old gen. Don't listen to the dickheads that are crying they've got PS5. I mean, alright, I'm glad you've got one, but you're not the majority people. Most people out there have got like a base Xbox. You can go and see the polls I run. It's indicative of what's out there. Most people are playing on old gen. They do answer someone else about the oil rigs, and it does look like it's going to be months away, so it's not going to suddenly drop in like June or July. It could be August. They've also said skins, they're going to be their own design skins. So if these skins end up being stupidly expensive, like $20 like it is on Fortnite, fuck D11. I don't want to see any skin more than $5. I think the most expensive is about $7 or £7 on PC, and even then that's ridiculous. £5 skins for like really nice stuff, maybe $10 for a set that has lots of stuff in it at most. But this isn't a free to play game, people. You've spent your hard earned money on this game. Don't stand there for this kind of crap when game companies still then try and load you up with skins that are stupidly expensive. Also, it does look like they're confirming they're going to be in charge, so they're not going to be letting other people create the art for these skins. So at least on PC, they get a cut of that. They get like 25% off of any of their sales of their own skins. So one issue that's come up has been the brightness. I was surprised that you can adjust it on console, because you can't on PC. I don't think you can, or not by much. And it does look like they're going to be removing that, I think. And that's a good move. Like, you know, nighttime in Rust is punishing, but yeah, you should be able to run around without players seeing you unless they've got a torchlight. That's part of the game, it's part of the meta. If you're expecting graphic enhancements for next gen consoles, that's not going to be close to launch. I've told you guys, don't expect that to 2022. I really can't see them adding that until much, much later. And like I said, I think that'll end up being a paid upgrade that you're going to have to pay for. And I'm not talking out my arse here. I'm looking at the industry. I'm looking at what everyone else is doing. I'm looking at other games that have either gave free upgrades or paid upgrades. And it certainly seems that since Double 11 are pretty greedy with all their pre-order shenanigans, I can't see them passing up on an opportunity to charge players in the future. People asking about streaming directly from PlayStation or Xbox. It cuts out the stream when you do certain things. They've fixed that. That's going to be out at launch. Invisible players will be fixed soon. Someone asked about different sensitivities for different guns, and it's something they're considering. So you might have a different one for a shotgun or a pistol or a sniper, and I thought that was pretty decent too. So in terms of the maps, they are going to be adding bigger ones soon. It does look like 3.5 kg maps are the ones that will be there. They're testing them at the moment, and they're hoping to get these larger maps out as soon as possible. So the 5 kg ones that they spoke about last time, they won't be in for a while. There won't be any PvE servers unless it's community based. They don't really have them on PC. This is a PvP game, guys. Like, if you want to play PvE, go and rent out your own server, I guess. But yeah, I don't think they really need to provide PvE content. The game, obviously, even now, especially it's 2.5 years late, doesn't have really that much PvE content at all. Like, the scientists are derpy as fuck, the creatures are bare minimum running around the map, and there's not even all the monuments added in. Someone asked about whether or not we're going to have more players on the map, and they've said they can't really answer that yet. They're testing stuff, they're seeing how it goes, they try and tackle it with care, and they need to continue performance with servers showing that they're performing well until a final decision can be made. So it is possible we may see more, but again, don't expect that for a good few months. Another one that keeps popping up is people asking for the graphics to be turned down. We've explained this before as well, that sometimes you don't want them turned down because then it means that people can kind of get a drop on you. You may be playing with your fancy graphics on, and then some potato console out there has turned them all down and they can see you hiding in the grass. So they're looking at that. They will maybe reduce certain things if it increases performance, I guess, for older consoles, but they're not probably going to reduce how much foliage is laying around and stuff like that. So when are we going to see this roadmap? Apparently only the first part of it, maybe by launch. Jesus Christ, man. Like, do you want people to buy this game? We've got to know what's coming. And that is pretty much it, guys. That is the future of Rust on console. Good news, bad news. I'm always going to give you my opinion on it and try and give you a real take on the industry, the way that other games do it. Hopefully it's helped you and give you a little bit of insight. Do let me know if you like some of them things you've heard about coming, whether or not you're a bit disappointed some things won't be there. As ever, leave your comments down below, but keep them nice and not insulting. And I'll see you, ratbags, for more Rust news and hopefully gearing up for the launch, where I will be taking part for sure in some day launch stuff going on. Until next time, laters.